In today's age of technology, there are literally thousands of options when it comes to electronic media. Shows, movies, miniseries, but it doesn't just stop there. Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, even YouTube all have some form of regular content being delivered, giving opportunities for thousands of creators to entertain an audience. With so many more opportunities to cultivate a following, this diversifies the group of creators of today, making it possible for all different types of people to be given an audience. One group that has deeply intrigued me is a handful of Instagram pranksters who have gained a massive following in the past few months. My curiosity with these creators is that they are terrible people. Now, if this term offends you, hang on a second. One, it does make for a better clickbait title. But secondly, I refer to them as being terrible due to the fact that they don't share the same morals as me. And in my opinion, they exhibit behavior that I would associate with a so-called terrible person. But I digress. The curiosity I've had with these creators stems from one simple question. How do terrible people become famous? Before we dive in, many examples I use may conflict with your opinions, so just keep in mind that I don't think poorly of any of these people. This video is theory, not fact. Today we'll be talking about one person in specific, Instagram prankster Boonk. Now, I think his fame comes down to a few different factors. The entertainment factor definitely comes into play. Think about why you tune in to watch Game of Thrones week after week, or why you shamelessly let Netflix start playing your 15th episode of Friends in a row. It's because when we watch media, we crave conflict, and subsequently, the solution to those conflicts. So when you watch Daenerys Targaryen wanting to take the Iron Throne, then watch her destroy half the Lannister army, this is a form of conflict solution. Your brain reacts in a similar way when Boonk would not like to purchase a tray of glazed pastries, but would still like to obtain one. His solution therefore being to take said tray of donuts and walk out of the store. In both situations, you can see that conflicts are being resolved to an extent. But to understand even further, let's take a look at reality shows. Similarly, these shows have conflicts as well, but the setting in which they take place will resemble a realistic or more relatable portrayal of reality. Take for instance, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. An episode may feature the conflict of Kylie wanting to get more attention than she already has, a somewhat relatable topic. Think for a moment, if you were Kylie, how would you go about solving this conflict? Wearing revealing clothing? Maybe. Breaking up with your rapper boyfriend? It's a possibility. Announce your pregnancy? Bingo. In some cases, an unorthodox or uncommon solution can make for very entertaining content. Take for example one of those Real Housewife shows. Okay, and there's a mother on the show named Sarah. Sarah feels like her marriage is failing. She decides to confront her husband and find a solution. What solution would you find more interesting? A. They talk their problems out and make up. B. She starts fighting and decides they need a divorce. Or C. Her husband reveals he sexually identifies as the crusty ring of mustard around the cap. The point to take away from this is that as consumers, we crave solutions to those on-screen conflicts. When it comes to reality shows, if everything was normal, viewers would become bored watching another person's life unfold. The unorthodox factor adds a lot, which I think is how Boonk got attention in the first place. Another factor to keep in mind when considering Boonk is the originality of his content. Sure, there are shows like Jackass that show characters running around causing mayhem, but Boonk is an impromptu, sporadic, one-man operation, aside from his cameraman, and he causes mayhem with such a blasé attitude for the law or any repercussions of his actions. Whether you might disagree with the legality or morality of his content, you can't deny that he has sparked a popular trend on Instagram, even becoming imitated by other creators. Supreme Patty is another creator on Instagram with similar ideas, causing mayhem and stealing things, all in the name of Instagram views. The takeaway from this is that Boonk's content is pretty unique, and he's discovered an idea that people are interested in watching, and continue to stay interested, at least for now. Next, you have to keep in mind the popularity factor, and how popularity spreads. If I told you the following statement, I don't understand why the sky is blue, I better it. You might come up with a variety of answers, one of those possibly being Google it. As many millennials understand, there was a time before the internet when Google did not exist. But as its popularity began to grow in the early stages of the internet, the phrase found its way into everyday conversation and now is used today as a common verb. Similarly, the phrase or hashtag BoonKgang has become a popular phrase commonly used when describing someone who steals items. The description from Urban Dictionary states, the act of finessing someone of their personal belongings, the attempt to purchase an item but deciding to run away without paying for the item. When a catchphrase like this gains traction, it only adds to the popularity of someone. When social groups converse about it, they can connect and converse, while unintentionally giving a bigger audience for Boonk. The last point I have for my theory deals with a phenomenon I don't exactly understand myself, so I might have a hard time explaining this. It deals with the fascination that occurs when humans drive past a burning car or a car accident, but just can't seem to look away. I'm sure psychologists have studied this, but some part of the human brain causes us to enjoy watching terrible things. And while Boonk might not necessarily be unethical or bad in your eyes, when I view his content, I always get a feeling of pity for the employees who deal with him, and occasionally annoyed at the inconveniences he causes. I understand it's all in the name of entertainment, but morally, it conflicts with me. To conclude, I think that most people know it's not morally right to make a hood slip and slide in the middle of a Wendy's. But like I said, some people just can't look away from a terrible or unethical behavior. Boonk has now become a somewhat famous personality online for his mischievous behavior. And we can theorize that part of it comes from an audience that craves unorthodox, original content. We can also add to that Boonk memes also had a hand in him becoming the figure that he is today. On a final note, I want to know your guys' thoughts. Is it unfair that someone can get so much attention for breaking the rules? Are his actions justified because his audience encourages him? Do you give two shits about him?
Okay, got the piece on us.
What do you think about Boonk? Lastly, if I missed something in this video, well, you all know. It's because this is adequately explained. See you next time.